I'm Hazel. It's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I have been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week we got info, about the upcoming patch 10.2.6. The sum of what we know so far can be broken down into 3 points. Number 1, the patch will be launching in just a few more days, March the 19th. We have a release date. Thing number 2. It is a limited time event, so depending on your interpretation, that could either mean a new holiday or something that's going to happen once but will not stay in the game forevermore. And thirdly, Season 4 will begin, quote, several weeks after the release of 10.2.6. So if you have any end of season goals that you are still working on, please plan accordingly. That is it. That is all we know. There's the fact that it's like a 0.6 patch, so perhaps we shouldn't expect like the Earth to move and maybe like compare it to what we had in 0.5 for like a reference point. But everything else we're just going to have to find out on Tuesday. I do think that having this 0.26 patch be a limited time event is an interesting strategy on its own, apart from all the secrecy, which is a separate interesting strategy that we'll see how it works out. I think that having it be a limited time event, on one hand, amps up the FOMO that should help encourage people to check out the patch, because if you don't check it out while it's fresh, you may not get to check it out at all. And then on top of that, it means that the devs don't necessarily have to consider how whatever it is that they're doing fits into the game long term as a whole. It's not something that they have to reconcile forever. If the patch comes out and it turns out that it is generally disliked, it gets to just kind of evaporate after a while, like an Instagram story or a Snapchat. I think that's a very interesting and curious way of making content, but it's not as though they're saying that our raid tier is going to evaporate. It's a 0.6 patch, which is like a fairly new invention to begin with. So I'm overall very curious just to see what it is, how it goes, and whether or not this is the start of things to come, or if it's just kind of a funny experiment that they did one time. Speaking of things that they're just going to do one time in limited time events, the Hearthstone anniversary event has begun. If you log into Hearthstone and then you log into WoW, you can get this mount here, the Fiery Hearthsteed. Worth noting that Hearthstone is free to play and download, and you also technically don't have to play it, you just have to log into it. So if you don't like the game, never played it, don't have any interest, that's totally fine. All you gotta do is install it, log into WoW, bada bing, bada boom. And then for the in-game event in WoW, there are more things that you can get than just that mount. And what doing the event basically boils down to is once every 30 minutes, formerly an hour, hotfixed to 30 minutes, a portal will spawn in-game. It used to rotate between 3 locations. It now spawns in all 3 of them every 30 minutes. Valdrakken, Durotar, just by Orgrimmar, and the Stormwind Harbor. And then you kill some stuff that comes out of it. And then you see if it dropped your stuff. That's basically it. There is a little bit more. There's a very short quest line that gives you a couple of the cards. You can also get the cards for your collection by battling people at the tables that are set up in those areas. But you can also get those cards for your collection, and by that I mainly mean the achievement that gives you the Hearthstone game board toy, just by doing the boss, like the portal grind anyway. You don't have to bother with anything but the portal grind, and you can still get everything from the event. It is live now, and it runs now until March the 22nd. They extended the end date by a couple of days. You can, as it stands, earn loot from this on more than just your first kill of the day. So have at it. Good luck. Happy farming. I hope you get all of the loot. Here's a list of what's involved. There's a compass rose mount. There's a pet. There's some transmogs. There is a 36 slot bag. Good stuff. And then in WoW news this week, they made a Season 4 announcement for Dragonflight talking about how they are doing kind of like this dungeon difficulty squish, which isn't to make the dungeons easier, although it kind of makes them easier, and it's not to make the dungeons harder, although it technically makes them harder. Basically, what they are doing is, in Season 4, a dungeon with the same name of difficulty as it had last season is going to be harder than it was, but it's going to drop better loot. They're kind of like squishing the dungeon content down to make better use of the lost lower difficulties. Things like heroic and mythic zeros that are functionally dead in the current game are going to be actually more relevant, drop more meaningful loot to a couple of ends, but mainly they talk about wanting to have endgame dungeon content that is meaningful to do without necessarily having to deal with Mythic Plus affixes and a timer. So the new Mythic Zero is going to fill that kind of niche. The new random heroics are going to fill the old Mythic Zero niche, except that they'll remain queuable. And then for Mythic Plus, the difficulties are getting squished way down. So a +2 is going to be equivalent to what kind of used to be an 11. You get your last affix at 10, the rewards cap out at 10, and climbing up a key level should feel like a more substantial difference. Overall, I'm happy about this. It sounds good. I had to read the post a couple of times. It's one of those things that seems like a good idea. It's just kind of confusing to explain. In service of helping people understand what it's going to be like, they reference a lot what it has been in the current season, but it ends up coming off as if you've ever known somebody that after like flying and getting jet lag or like a clock time change like daylight savings, they continually refer to the current time in terms of what time it used to be or what time your body's clock is on for like a long time. Reading this post kind of reminded me of that, and I could see how it's one of those things that's a bit confusing to wrap your head around when you first encounter it. While on the topic of Season 4 Mythic Plus, it is worth noting that in the process of explaining all of this, they also confirmed, we kind of knew this, but they confirmed that Season 4 will be a replay of the original 8 Dragonflight dungeons. So you get another crack at Ruin My Life pools, Brackenhide Hollow, all those good ones. It also means that if you already have the Mythic Plus portals for those keys from doing them in the first 2 seasons, and portals are one of your main reasons for doing a Mythic Plus season, you may have less motivation than normal to participate this season because you would already have those portals. I'm sure there'll be another Armoreiden mount, but the portals at least are not new. Other things this week, another 12 new hero talent trees have been posted for feedback. I will link that mega post below. This is a look at the names of the specs. If any of them catch your eye that you want to go look further into, that information is available to you. And then in my life this week, I rather last minute decided to take a week off from streaming. I had meant to do a week back around Christmas time, and then I never got around to it. So when I saw that they were not dropping patch 10.2.6 this week, I thought, you know what, now or never. So I have not been streaming. I have been getting out of my house a fraction more, which has been good for me. I'm enjoying the sunshine, and I will be back to streaming to check out the new patch. Not the Tuesday that it launches, but the Wednesday following, when hopefully any immediate initial issues have been smoothed out. And then a question for this week. Coffee Wolf wants to know, where did you find the exit music? It makes my heart happy. Aw. So I mixed that one in GarageBand out of loops, so don't be too impressed. It's like the jigsaw puzzle of making music, about 1 million years ago, and I've been using it ever since because at this point I've been using it so long I don't think I can stop. Also, I haven't managed to make anything better. It is on SoundCloud, technically, if you're ever really hankering to hear the whole thing. And that has been my week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions you want answered in a news video, please pop them in the comments and include the word question to help me find them. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful patch week and a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.